name is Amber and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to talk about my least favorite books of 2018. These are the worst of the worst that I read. I ended up giving out 14 2-star ratings, and if you've seen my how I rate books, you'll know these would be the lowest of the lows. Let's just jump right in. These books are in no particular order because when I tried to rank them I got confused as to how I was supposed to go about it. So let's just jump right in. The book I want to talk about is The Girl I Used to Be by April Henry. This is about a girl who's basically her whole life knew her mother was murdered and thought her father had done it. However, it turns out her father didn't do it and he was murdered around the same time her mother was. She is trying to kind of track down who her parents' killer was. The book falls into my typical thoughts about April Henry books. The premises are too good for the books that I end up getting. The story brought nothing new to the mystery thriller genre. I was bored. It just was not a fun time, so I ended up giving it 2 stars. The next book on this list is Rooms by Lauren Oliver. It was about a ghost, and you really couldn't tell if you weren't paying attention to the synopsis of the book because I had no idea ghosts were even involved. There's too many POVs, and the book just kind of doesn't explain why it needed so many points of view. Disappointed because you couldn't find anybody to root for, and you were hearing lots of conversations about the author's thoughts about boobs, which is just odd. Next up is Turn of Mind by Alice LaPlante. This book I read because of my Pop Sugar reading challenge. It involves basically a surgeon who has dementia and is accused of murdering her best friend, so you kind of know going in your narrator is not super reliable. However, I just felt bored by this. It just didn't bring anything new. It just ended up being really predictable, so it just kind of disappointed me. I read Autonomous, which is about a woman who's a pharmaceutical pirate on a submarine in a space setting, and it just wasn't for me. I just couldn't get into it. Everything about this just bored me, and it just kind of let me down. Speaking of books that just let me down, I'm going to talk about Providence by Caroline Kepnes. This book, I was on the Caroline Kepnes. I'm not sure if I'm like super still in love after having read Hidden Bodies by her. And this book definitely makes me question if I really liked you as much as I thought I did. This book ended up covering too many topics to really be enjoyable. One that I'm just going to put out here that I read this year and gave 2 stars is 27 Hours by Tristina Roy. I'm not giving this book any more attention than that. I also read The Gunslinger by Stephen King, which is Western fantasy, and I learned that is not a genre for me, and so I ended up giving this one 2 stars. I also gave The Prescotts Vehicles 2 stars by Leslie Walton. The book was terribly paced and underdeveloped and involved way too much on its theme of cutting, and it just was a terrible don't touch me mess. Speaking of don't touch me messes, Pretty Little Dolls was definitely one of the biggest messes that I read this year. Like I said in my November wrap-up, this book involved too much on just jumping between. If it wanted to be a thriller or if it wanted to be erotica, I will definitely be linking that wrap-up because I don't want to waste any more time talking about how much I hated this book. Destiny on Ice by S.R. Gray, 2 stars. This book is a hockey romance. However, it's a one-night stand. It's not really a one-night stand. Cringy characters, cringy dialogue, and chapter titles, even though it's a romance, so you can see where that's going. It just really let me down based on its premise was A Dirty Job by Christopher Moore. It took forever to get somewhere plot-wise, which is really unfortunate because it's about a guy who unwillingly becomes a Grim Reaper. Additionally, I would be okay if I never heard the phrase beta male. It literally said it like every page, and it drove me fucking bonkers. Hashtag Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil is a book that, in my opinion, kind of sounded like Battle Royale. However, this book was cool idea, terrible execution. That was contrived, the writing came off the stream of conscious, and it just could not keep me entertained because nothing made sense. A book I should have known better would be Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. It's about a girl who has a homicidal tendency gene and ostracized by her community. However, that's all you ever hear about. You don't really get anything else. It was just really standard, just really insta-lovey and just boring, and I just was bored, and it just was the worst. And if you had to pick one that just disappointed me because it wasn't gearing up to be a 2-star the whole time I was reading, it would be Just Juliet by Charlotte Reagan. Go into spoilers, so hi. This book sets up to be a cute female-female coming out story. One character is a lesbian, one character ends up coming out as bisexual. However, in the very last chapter, they break up. This book set up to be the cutest romance, and when the one girl decides she's bi, they end up getting together, and then in the last fucking chapter, you have them break up just to get back together, and the epilogue is the most bullshit of bullshitty things that could possibly happen. Honestly, it just don't try to make me think this romance is super cute and I'm supposed to be rooting it the whole time just to do something like that. That just really disappointed me because I wanted romance. I wanted, like, let me have a happily ever after story. Don't have them break up in the last chapter just to get back together in the epilogue. It's fucking stupid. It's the worst thing you could really do is basically say, it basically felt like I wasted my time on this story. Root for it just to yank the rug out from under me and say, just kidding, and then give me the rug back. It doesn't make sense. How about you? Did you rate any of these books higher than me? I'm kind of interested. Let me know in the comments down below. Like what you saw here today, and I promise I'm not normally this ranty or rambly. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a nice day!